TARDIS has got its light on. I need to take another picture. Sorry, we're recording now, aren't we?
We are recording.
Right.
So hello from Riverside Studios in London, where today we have been at the Doctor Who Appreciation Society's screening of Adventure in Space and Time and The Final Test.
That's the longest title of a screening I've ever heard in my life.
So I am here, of course. I'm joined by Miles.
Hello.
And Josh.
Hello, pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Not been on the channel before.
No.
And we should hopefully have another person joining us for this little roundtable discussion, Pete, but he's not with us anymore. He's not dead.
He's just
He's just helping out.
He's our will.
Kate's looking after him.
Kate's looking after him.
Yeah.
Kate's looking after him.
So this is going to be a roundtable discussion about the Star Beast, which aired last night at the time of recording, so very fresh. Wanted to get thoughts on this. So let's just get into this. Thoughts on the episode.
Can I quickly just say as well, it is literally a round table.
I was just about to say that exact same thing.
Yeah.
It couldn't be more
Just
perfect.
as I imagined it.
It couldn't be more perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, where the hell to begin?
It's a good point, isn't it?
I mean, I think the first thing, because we were talking to you, Josh, when you got here, and I think the first thing you said was that pre-titles sequence.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to start on a negative.
I don't want to start on a negative either, but
Okay.
it is where it starts. It is where it starts.
I forgot to mention this in my own little review thing actually, just on the night. I wasn't too much of a fan of that. I know Josh kind of agrees with me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Miles not so much.
I see people's points, but and I see why it was there for the casual audience. I think it would really help them catch up.
Yeah.
Do I like the way it was done? No. Why was David Tennant flying in space on the left side of the screen? It's a very bizarrely framed thing.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Donna in a kitchen, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, why didn't you shoot David in the same way, in a different set?
like an actual set,
But
basically.
in terms of what it was doing, I think I can understand why it was there. I'll be hitting that skip intro button when it comes on iPlayer.
So I think we were saying that, weren't we? That like, if it had been a separate thing in its own right, that you could literally skip over, then kind of that makes it better. But because it's literally stitched
And
onto
here
the
he
front of the
is.
episode,
There he
the
is.
man himself.
What did you think?
All right, guys.
Yeah,
Am I finally on your channel?
you are, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is
Well,
amazing.
if this ends up going out,
It will. Don't censor
well,
me.
you never
Don't
know.
censor me.
you never know what's going to happen in the next hour or so.
Yeah.
But thoughts. We're just talking about. Well, we're kind of going chronologically, I suppose, haven't we? The opening bit, the
pre-title
little
sequence.
introductory thing where they spoke to the camera. Any particular thoughts on that?
That's pretty good. Green
You
screen
like
was
it?
a bit weird.
Yeah.
You thought it was pretty good?
Well, the green screen was a bit odd.
Okay, sure. Well, it's a proper round table. We're getting all
It's
sides
a
of the
proper
The
discussion.
music was nice. The actual, what they were saying, the voiceover was nice. Nice seeing David Tennant.
Yeah, I sort of liked how it led into the titles and like saying if she ever sees me or remembers or whatever, whichever variation it was, she will die. I think my feeling, it kind of, some of the dialogue was repeated elsewhere in the episode, so it felt a little redundant.
And he says, if he ever, I can't ever see her again.
Yeah.
And then literally 20 minutes in, Sylvia's like, she can't see you. And he's like, oh no, she just
can see
can't
me, she
remember
just
me.
can't remember
It's
me.
slightly
Yeah.
different. So he contradicts
Yeah.
himself from the opening, which was a bit
Yeah, I
bizarre.
think the opening was very clearly like a BBC exec had watched the screening and gone, yes, I think you need to have a little bit at the start there to
It felt like
explain
that, I think.
what's going on. And Russell was like, okay, so it was kind of felt like an afterthought in comparison.
I am suspicious, especially with the David Tennant stuff, because it seems like he filmed a load of stuff, including like the CBeebies bedtime story,
Children in
all
Need.
the children in need stuff, the Dr. Donna fond message and all
Donna
of that.
message.
And there's promos where he's like, "Oh, she's back, I'm back."
Yeah.
I wonder if it was in that batch of like pickups.
It wouldn't surprise
It
me.
would not surprise me, yeah. I mean, it feels bad that we've started on a slight negative. Overall,
It's too negative for me, I'm off.
right, Pete's left, okay.
I said I didn't want to start on a negative. This is Miles' fault.
Yeah, this overall, I just want to make the point very clear. I was smiling, I was beaming by the end of it. This is what I've been saying to everyone today when they've been like, "What did you think?" I've been beaming with delight ever since. It wasn't this is the point I've been making. It wasn't what I was expecting it to be.
Yes.
Which was a kind of very Star Beast heavy plot, and not so much the Meta Crisis stuff. But now that I've seen it, I want to watch it again and appreciate it for what it is. But and that's not to say that I didn't like it. I'm beaming with delight, and there's so many moments that I'll pinpoint that are just golden. So
Yeah.
That's my overall take on it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that there's always an element of that, isn't there? Like, we have these expectations of things, and this is particularly relevant to next week's episode as well. I mean, God knows
100%.
how that's going to go down and be received in terms of what does and doesn't come true about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, what elements were we surprised by, pleasantly or otherwise? I don't know.
I was surprised. I mean, we were saying this. It felt like that first 20 minutes, we kind of knew the gist.
didn't we? Yeah.
Kind of knew what was
Yeah.
going on because of the stuff we'd seen in
Yeah.
filming. As soon as it hit the car park, that was like, okay,
That was
now
the-
it's fresh
the switch,
eyes.
wasn't
Now
it?
it's the fresh
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Sort of stuff in the steelworks as well. It was that, that kind of stuff. I think what I wasn't expecting was just how crucial the Meta Crisis stuff would become in the plot.
Yeah.
I honestly did not think that the day would be saved by the Meta Crisis stuff. I don't know
Really?
what you guys have seen the leak. I have not seen the leak.
No, it wasn't even just because of the leak, but because of in the promotion for it, they put so much emphasis on if she ever remembers me, she will die. I
And
thought
then
you've got to
yeah.
bring it up, otherwise it's a bit of a cop out. So I was kind of expecting that. To be
Yeah, I just felt like it would be the kind of running theme through the whole
the whole
series
thing.
of
Right,
the
okay.
specials, as opposed to resolved within that
Yeah.
57-minute gap.
So I've got a question about that now.
Okay.
So at the end of the story, Rose and Donna let it go.
Yeah.
So does Donna still have the memories of being a Meta Crisis, of being a Time Lord? Does she have the Doctor's memories still?
Your
Or
thought
have
went
they
so
all-
hard then, Josh. Stuff went in the bin. I think
Or is she just Donna now?
she's just done
I
that. She's
think she's
reset.
just Donna.
She's back to Journey's End
But it's sort of,
status.
yeah, the memories are certainly there, and probably the memories of being the Doctor Donna are there. Yeah, it's a good point about how that was left.
I think a lot of it is kind of and now it's like just go with it. The status quo has
Yeah.
been reset. Donna
I
is
think that's
fine.
the thing, isn't it? Like,
Let's just.
we've let go of this baggage, and now we can move forward, and it's like, it's not going to get
Do you
in
think
the way
that's what
anymore,
Russell
it's
was
been
saying
dealt
to
with.
us? Just let it go.
Yeah.
And he was like, just move on, and let's, this is how it is now. you know?
Which, to be fair, I think is the right way to approach it. Honestly, I think that in terms of reintroducing people to the show, this whole thing of the Doctor can't ever see Donna because of the whole Meta Crisis and the memory wipe is some baggage that is preventing things from happening. And actually, I think that is probably a barrier. That's probably why they had the pre-title sequence. It's a barrier for newcomers.
entry.
So put it to bed straight away, go and do new stuff. I think that's the right thing
See,
to make.
the thing is, these specials to me seem like this is the chance to get people back on board who left the show after Tennant or after Smith or whatever, and it's like, and just to recap where you were 10 years ago or whatever, this is where it was at, and then Shooty comes along at Christmas, and that's when they're like, okay, now new people come and join us.
Absolutely.
So like,
Absolutely.
it kind of makes sense that this was perhaps heavy on the kind of let's resolve all the stuff that you guys left the show on, and we'll get the show to a clean slate by the time we finish the anniversaries. It's almost like, I don't want to call it like mopping stuff up because that kind of degrades it, but it's like this kind of feels like this is what the specials are.
Yeah, isn't there? I mean, because thinking about it in terms of it being, and it's very different almost to other post-generation stories we've had, or first Doctor
100%,
stories. It's obviously still in that category, but then you sort of call it that, and it's like, oh, I'd kind of forgotten almost that that's what it was, because
that's when I saw people ranking it as a post-generation
Ranking
story. I was
it,
like,
yeah.
I wouldn't call it that. It's just a
No,
season
no, no.
opener.
it felt very
you know?
different, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the opening when he walks out the TARDIS, it felt beat for beat like the opening to the Next Doctor, where he just walks out the TARDIS
And the music,
and he's
I
smiling
think Murray
at
was
the,
next doctoring as well, because it was
Absolutely,
that whole,
yeah.
that
the joy of
moment.
it all.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Smiling at Cyberdog, which I believe is some sort of fetish shop or something like that.
We were talking about this, weren't we? The geography of that scene doesn't add up. Anyone who's been to the location
This is
will
locations
know
man talking,
that
so.
when he parks the TARDIS is facing one way, and he walks off in that direction, and then he ends up at the complete opposite end of the market. Not that anyone will have known, not that it matters, but
I don't think it is a fetish shop, actually, to be fair.
Please clarify
I think
that,
it's
because
a,
I
think
don't
it's
want
a
to
rave.
libel anyone.
I think
I
it's a
think
rave
that-
shop.
A rave
There's
shop,
lots
okay.
of neon, ultraviolet clothes and stuff like that. I think it's for raving.
There we go. It's not a Cyberman reference,
Yes.
just to make that very
No.
clear. It is not a Cyberman story.
God.
Alright. Maybe Donna saw that, and that's why her memories include the Cybermen, because she assumed.
I swear one of those little plushies that Rose made was a Lupar as well.
Yes,
Did you spot
Yeah,
that?
I've seen people say this.
I saw this, right, and I said to the guy I was watching it with, Ben, shout out to Ben if he's listening, this was like I'm on a radio, shout out to Ben, that happened, and he was like, what, was that a thing? And I was like, yeah, I swear I saw a Carvanista plushie. And so I'm not going mad, that was a real thing.
Yeah.
And it had a howl noise as well.
Yes.
So are we insinuating that the Doctor and Donna maybe met? Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah. But anyway, that's that. I think one thing I want to get into, a juicy thing. We have here with us today the man who famously said to bin the sonic screwdriver.
Oh, he's looking at me. Oh, I was like, Josh, did you really say that?
How did you feel about the sonic screwdriver in this?
Now, Richard, I feel like you've said this to me, and now I'm going to come across as really negative. This is the only thing that I really didn't like.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll get used to it. I'm sure it'll be fine. But the fact that the Sonic can now make shields, and it just feels a bit too Harry Potter wand for me.
Yeah.
It feels a bit, expecto patronum. Here's the shield.
Yeah.
Pushing it, and
It's sort of superhero as well. The way
a bit Marvel, a bit too Marvel, which sounds it sounds so snooty of me to say that, but I think that in that discussion, the Sonic is a tool. It's for opening doors, and that's your lot really.
And resonating concrete.
Now I liked that. I did like that, and I liked how he used the end of it. So it kind of means that people who have the toy can now be like, I'm just going to set it to resonate concrete and blah.
Yeah, sure.
How did you feel about it creating that sort of GUI screen?
No, I said this to you, I don't mind that so much, because that's like, well, sure, it's a new interface for the Sonic, and like you were saying, it stops him having to look inside of it, it makes a bit more sense.
It's kind of like a visualisation of what's been going on the whole time almost, isn't it?
But the fact that he can draw a physical presence shield in terms of the shield, I think that was a bit too much. But like I say, I'm gonna watch it again, and it won't bother me. It's just at the time I did cringe a bit, and I was like, oh. And Ben, who was sat next to me, who was like, yeah, that's not great, is it? But sure, what the hell? It got them from A to B, didn't it? So, otherwise the story would have ended very quickly with a shoot-up involving the Wrath Warriors and, Wrath Warriors or Wrath Warriors?
I think it's Raw.
I need to listen to
that's
Warriors.
it.
Yeah.
It's various
And
pronunciations.
speaking of which, let's move on to the Star Beast elements maybe of this. So
100%.
obviously the Wrath Warriors and the Meep. Let's talk about the Wrath Warriors first, because they get a bit overlooked, don't they? So they were there.
What did you think of the voices?
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up.
Now this is the sound of a man who wants to pick.
It was a bit of a weird choice, I think.
When they started talking, I was like, have you forgot to put on the modulation or something? Like, it was a very... But maybe that's the point, because they are the goodies.
Yeah.
They are
It's
just
surprising.
like space constables.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't
Maybe
it?
so I need to kind of still work out what I think about that. And it wasn't even like they kind of had, no disrespect to the guys, honestly, but it wasn't like they had like a comedy duo or anything, like in Dinosaurs in Spaceship with Mitchell and Webb. It was kind of just like two guys doing a normal sort of jokey voice. Felt a little bit weird. I think especially with the Meep as well, obviously having Miriam Margolyes, having them both have sort of weird voices.
But
a little bit strange.
I think it would have actually been better if they had like modulation to me, like gruff, kind of grunty characters, because then that furthers the point. Like you look at that thing, you hear that thing, and you think monster. You look at the Meep, you hear it, and you think goody. And it's like, no, these are actually, in this situation, it's total opposite. So I think it would have actually worked a bit more to have it that way.
The voices actually reminded me of... have either of you heard A Company of Friends by Big Finish?
I have. Now remind me what story.
So in Izzy's story...
Izzy. Now I love...
Isn't Oblivion a really good graphic novel?
It's so we could
good.
just derail this conversation.
We can just derail the conversation.
Richard, you just go and get another side and we'll talk about
how good is Beautiful Freak? It's so good.
Beautiful Freak is perhaps the best...
Anyway. But in Izzy's story, that's... the whole story is like a homage to 2000 AD comic strips. And the...
Judge Dredd and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And the enemies in that, I think they're called the Suits or something like that. They speak sort of like that. So I wonder if it's a homage, that sort of 70s.
Doctor Who magazine-y.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
so
I guess
yeah.
it's a
Sci-fi.
comic strip, isn't it? I guess you can sort of play around with it.
Because the
yeah.
design of them, they're plucked straight out of the comics as well.
And they look fantastic.
I have to say, so I watched the behind the scenes on YouTube, which shows the actors rehearsing. They've got like COVID masks over their face to sort of obscure their vision. They're on stilts. It's amazing, and I think it's the Roth Warriors could so easily have been just put a man in a rubber suit and go with it. But no, they changed the body shape. They've got claws for hands. They've got these big, long, spindly legs. It's fantastic.
Wings as well.
They got wings,
wings.
which put me in the mind of the Viper Rocks from Dreamland.
Oh yeah.
I don't think anyone ever wants to be
I don't
reminded
think
of Dreamland, to be fair.
I'm sorry about that. I just want to apologise for that.
No.
But and that was one of those moments that I think, as a younger, sort of annoyed teenager, I would have gone, oh, what, they can fly? Oh, that's ridiculous.
Right.
But I looked at it, the street shot, when they had the big panning up. Beautiful,
I think this was
beautiful.
the thing for me, like, because I'm sort of moving into that discussion about that set piece now, that whole thing on the streets. It, like, well, obviously it was phenomenal, great stuff, but yeah, it kind of, them flying just enabled you to literally kind of take it up a level.
notch.
Like they were downstairs shooting, and they go upstairs, and the Roth Warriors follow, they fly up, and it just escalates bit by bit.
100%.
Obviously, that fantastic sequence where they're moving through the 5 attics.
Yeah,
I love that. I love
that was brilliant.
Brilliant stuff. Didn't see that coming at
With
all.
Miriam ad-libbing all the, like, if you've seen the Unleashed clip of her in the studio, and there's one point when she's looking at her script, reading the lines, and then she just thinks, I'm just gonna, sorry. That's probably like, you know, like literally word for word. Yeah, exactly. So I think, fantastic stuff. It's brilliant. Can I just say as well about, before we go on to the meat, the comedy in this episode was fantastic, and I think that's both down to Russell and Catherine and David. Just their comic timing is fantastic.
Jacqueline King as well.
Jacqueline King, we can't forget her. She's fantastic. Sean, I forget the actor's name.
Yes, him.
I'm turning to my encyclopedia of Doctor Who knowledge here.
Carl Collins?
Carl
That's
Collins,
the one.
right, there we go.
Carl Collins.
Beautiful, that whole sequence when it was just the meeps going in the hair, the doctors coming through. I've told you guys, my favourite line delivery of the whole thing was when the doctor looks through the letterbox and just looks at the meep and goes, so cute, and he's like bizarrely like befuddled by it.
Yes.
All this chaos going on, Sean walks in and decides not to comment on it one bit, just to be like, dinner smells
Dad's
nice.
home, yeah.
Yeah, Dad's home.
I really like Sean as a character. I actually wish we saw more of him.
But I think that he was used so well. I think that they used him like to the best degree they could. I did think it was a bit Chibnall to have a group of 5 people to continue.
The lineup there, all moving.
When
from A to B.
Sylvia and Sean didn't really have much to do once they'd left the house. But I get why they had to be there. Rose needed someone to sort of interact with when she had all that meta-crisis stuff happening to her. But no, the comedy overall, I laughed. I laughed loads.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. I wish... Oh, sorry, go on.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, Jacqueline King, Sylvia, I think sort of the young sung hero of this, really, like, right before that moment you mentioned, Miles, like where she sees the Doctor and she turns, she's like, right, marching down.
Oh, I was bawling with laughter.
And the music as well.
Yeah.
And just...
Murray was like, I'm back, by the way.
Yeah,
Here
it
you
was
go.
just
Here's a
chaos
bit of score.
and just getting worse and worse.
And on the note of Sylvia as well, I loved that scene with her and Donna after Rose has walked out to the garden.
Yes.
And it was a really nice way that they touched on the topic of trans people and how to behave and all that sort of stuff. It was done so well, written so well. And ended on a lovely comic beat of Donna being like, you know, you have a daughter grow up and, you know, you see them grow up and don't you, Mum? And she's like, what? Oh, yeah, I suppose so. It's fantastic.
It felt very real.
It felt very
honest,
real.
Which I
Nothing
liked.
says Russell like a woman cooking a chicken madras while, you know...
Tuna madras?
Tuna madras. Sorry, tuna madras. I want to try that. I'm going to try that now. Should we go for a tuna madras after we finish this?
We should do. I was going to ask you guys, have you... either of you read the Star Beast comic?
I haven't.
Originally?
No.
I'm planning on doing it over
haven't you?
Christmas.
Yes.
So
I read it and I
fountain
actually
knowledge.
made some notes
Oh my
about
God.
it before.
Just for listeners,
watched it.
Josh has got a load of notes on his phone here.
Yes.
Wow.
Something that I noticed when I read it was that Russell seems to have been heavily influenced by the Star Beast to the point that 3 other episodes he's written take a lot of inspiration from
Interesting.
it. Can you guess what they are?
Aliens
2
of London, World War II.
Why?
Smith and Jones.
Because of the
Smith and Jones,
Smith
yeah.
and Jones. Okay, right. I just thought the way that the spaceship didn't crash, it parked,
Okay.
and that was a bit like the Slovene ship.
Right, possibly.
yeah.
Smith and Jones, I'd definitely say.
Jones.
The Shadoon and the
Yeah.
Wrath Warriors.
And I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I was like, it's interesting that the Jadoon didn't come along for the meet, given that, so the Wrath Warriors are like another insignificant.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got somebody who seems like a frail old woman, seems nice, and they're actually evil.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And then there's another one which was pointed out in an issue of Warp magazine, actually. It's a very good fanzine.
Yes,
They did an article on Starbeast. It's an Eccleston story. Can you guess what it is?
So not Aliens of London.
Not Aliens of London.
Interesting.
Not
Are we
Rose?
No.
Boomtown?
Boomtown.
Right.
With
right.
Margaret the Slovene acting as if
She's turned good.
she's turned good and actually she wants to blow up the planet to get away and go back home.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, there's a whole thing that they, I believe, got rid of. I have to rewatch it in the episode. But there's a whole thing about how at the end of the comic, they're going to make the Meat sort of stand trial and probably execute him.
Yeah.
And the Doctor's sort of bit blasé about that. Similar to how in Boomtown she's like, "Oh,
You're gonna
you
take me
deliver.
home,
You're going to take me to the law.
Yeah, right.
You don't make the law, but you deliver it." A similar thing.
Yeah.
The other thing as well is that in the original comic story, the Fourth Doctor lands on the Wrath ship,
Right.
and
okay.
they
So I've heard the Big Finish adaptation. So that's
Right.
I mean the first part at least, but that's what happens, right? Isn't it? Yeah. So he meets the Wrath Warriors first, as opposed to the
Absolutely.
Meat first.
yeah.
right, okay.
And what they do is they think that he's working for the meat.
Right.
They render him unconscious, open up his stomach, and put a bomb in his
bomb
stomach,
inside him.
just like in
Yes.
Children of Earth.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So I've listened to the Big Finish version, and that happens in part 1, doesn't it? Yes. That's
me.
fantastic. Wow.
Deep.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
stuff.
The other
Thanks,
thing, no worries. The other thing I was going to say as well is I wish we heard a bit more of the Meat, because in the comic story you hear his faults.
Yes.
You realise that he's evil long before everyone else does, because they're making all these asides saying how awful Sharon is and all these things.
Yeah. We've got Adam here.
Oh, hello.
Ah, hello! Wow!
We've got 5 people on this.
Look at
This
the
is
mic
fantastic.
of Rassilon. This is amazing.
I think we think it should be Meep the Mic, actually.
Meet
Yes.
the mic.
Meet the
Oh,
mic.
yes.
I think,
Yes.
We're just doing a bit for YouTube about the Starbeast, of course.
What were
Last
we
night's
were talking
episode.
about the comparisons between the comic and
comic
the
and
TV
the
version.
TV
Have you read the
version.
comic?
I read a bit of the comic actually.
Yeah,
I picked up a little excerpt of it and
Yeah.
listened to a little bit of the audio as well. So
I was saying- yeah,
it was,
yeah.
it's a great little adaptation.
Isn't it? Yeah. So it's interesting to see how much they've taken from that and put in the,
Yeah,
the TV
definitely.
version.
And
isn't it?
Russell said in the official Doctor Who podcast that he originally
The official Doctor Who,
he
sorry,
originally
yeah.
was going to reveal that the Meat was evil long
Earlier on.
before.
Earlier,
That was
yeah.
interesting.
And that's
Yeah.
more in line with the comic, because you hear their thoughts and you hear that he's sort of
Oh,
saying,
so in
why
the-
is
in
this awful person looking after me? They're so dumb.
I do think that would have been great to have in the shed as Rose is like turns around and then the Meep's like, I'm going to
Yeah, that
devour
was
your
it.
brains.
Yeah,
and then
that
turns
was
around,
it,
what did you
yeah.
say? Oh, nothing, But I think for the purpose of the sort of Disneyfication, it's a very much, Starbeast is kind of like a Pixar film, and you need a cutesy kind of character for that duration until you get to the point, the midpoint
Yes.
in a car park, which I didn't see coming. I knew the Meep
not
was
at all.
evil, but I didn't think that would be the moment they revealed it. And
with Doctor's wig.
with the Doctor's
Judge
wig,
Doctor.
Stones of Blood.
Yes, I got that straight
Stones of
away.
Blood.
I got that reference straight
Amazing.
away.
I haven't watched the
Hello.
Kids time yet, so.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. We are doing a podcast. What's your name? Ethan.
You're Miles, right?
I am Miles. This is Richard. This is Josh.
We are talking about
Hello.
the Starbeast.
I've seen you about at before, I think.
I do work there.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you recognise me from there. I don't know, I think it was a while back when I was
Did you work on Children in Need?
and Comic Relief as well, yeah.
Relief as well.
I did Children in Need 2 years in a row, and right now I'm technically wearing a Screen News scarf because this is what we got Jason Manford to wear on stage.
No
last Friday.
way.
Oh, fantastic.
Well,
So-
exclusive. There we
Is that
go.
how they did the sketch?
So before they had the sketch, they had Jason and Mel introduce the sketch on
Yeah.
stage. So part of my job was to like brainstorm and research, various outfits they could wear,
Yes.
like what was affordable. And so I did like various mood boards. So for Jason, it was like Tom Baker, David Tennant, Matt Smith, and Sylvester McCoy. And then for Mel, it was Jodie Whittaker and also Donna Noble as well. So
Amazing.
Went for Tom Baker and Jodie Whittaker. I mean, I already had the coat and the shirt for Jodie Whittaker, which I let Mel use. And,
Yes, they were yours, weren't they? Yeah,
and
that's fantastic.
She loved it so much that she wanted to keep it. I mean, we had to tell her no, but me and her still got on like a house on fire.
Amazing.
Though. She was very lovely about it.
Amazing.
That is
That's a brilliant insight for all the fans.
And yeah, I kept the scarf after the show.
So this is an official Children
Screen
Need
Used.
Bought Screen Used scarf.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. So is that a Lavarzi one? From the...
I found it on Amazon. It's the shorter one.
Oh, wow.
It got the job done.
It got the job done.
Yeah.
It got the job done. Brilliant.
So anyway, what's the discussion? Is it the Starbeast?
We are
We're
talking
talking
about
about
Starbeast.
Starbeast,
I think
yes.
we're
Yeah.
sort of just we were talking a bit about the meat. I think we're
Yeah.
gonna move on to the
What
meat
do you think
properly
of the
now.
meat?
The meat. How is that?
I adore the meat.
We love the meat.
Yeah.
And I also adore that bit from Unleashed where we see Miriam Margolyes.
Yeah.
I was saying this, how she just riffs. She just throws away the script.
Please be my friend.
Yeah, brilliant.
Please help the little meat.
It's
Please,
fantastic.
pretty
Brilliant
lady.
impression.
That's really good. Miriam Margolyes is here.
Hello.
That was uncanny.
I was very lucky to manage to book myself a ticket to the RTS screening in Cardiff, which I saw.
Oh, so
I
you
saw
saw it
2 days
early.
early,
You're one of
yeah.
the lucky
saw it
people
early.
who
Yeah,
saw it.
I know, and I met Russell that night as well.
Interesting.
Which was very surreal because it's like his version of the show was one of the reasons that I wanted to get into the creative industry in the first place. So getting to tell him that was very surreal.
That's a real pinch me moment.
But no,
right?
he's very nice. I was wearing this scarf at the time, and one of the first things he said was how he liked my scarf, and yeah, just had a very quick chat. And we took a selfie. So
Lovely.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Lovely stuff.
yeah.
Here's a question. For that screening, did they include that moment where the pre-title sequence of the explanation stuff?
They kept everything in. Like,
Yeah, I wonder whether they cut.
I
Whether that was just for the broadcast.
I was expecting something to have been cut out of the screening, but
Yeah.
nothing was because I was expecting there because there was no next time trailer in the screening, so I thought, okay, maybe on broadcast.
Maybe-
it'll be,
yeah.
But no.
Okay,
But we've had a trailer since though, just very vague.
Very vague.
I guess very Chibnall era style trailer where it's very vague.
Yeah.
Series 11 style where they don't really show the monsters.
Where they keep it, keeping things back.
Which no, like I respect Russell wanting to do a potentially scary episode and try to keep it under wraps like that. It's like right now it's giving me Midnight and Heaven Sent.
This is exactly
Definitely,
what
this is
you
what you were
said,
saying.
Josh.
I'm
Josh
so
said
excited
that's
for
exactly
Wild Blue Yonder.
Wild
Wild Blue Yonder.
Expectations, predictions.
So I've heard a
what is
lot.
it gonna be?
I've heard a lot about
Yeah.
a certain monster from the Fourth Doctor era possibly popping up, which has only happened since the trailer came out.
Yes.
Oh, have you heard it elsewhere as well?
No. Like this
I
is
thought-
the very first thought. Like,
Okay.
is since this trailer when we've seen
Oh,
that shot
right,
of the
so,
grill
yeah.
and people
That
have been
made
like
you think it.
insect noises.
Right. Yeah.
Is the
Okay.
Wirren coming back? It's a bizarrely.
I
niche
wouldn't
thing.
put money on it,
What's the
Miles.
weird?
Yeah.
The Ark in Space.
The Ark in Space.
I need to
Season
see
12.
that.
Which Russell loves it, and he's
Yeah.
always
I mean,
gone on
here we
about
go,
it.
yeah.
So, and
Here
Richard,
we
you
are.
said that he wants to do a sequel to it.
So he said ages back, I think before he was even confirmed to be returning, that he would love to have done,
done
in
a
his
sequel.
era a sequel to a classic story. So maybe this is it.
Well,
Maybe this
I
is the
mean,
time.
I might watch Ark in Space just in case then. Like
I would. I mean, some people
Never
love
know,
it.
do you?
You know.
But it makes sense though because that seems to be what he's doing with these specials, sort of like bringing on either very obscure, monsters. Well, yes, like very obscure monsters and villains from classic and the expanded universe.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I've still not read the Star Beast yet. I sort of wanted to avoid doing that just so I didn't have the expectations for watching it. But now that I've seen it, I'll probably read it at some point just to sort of compare and contrast.
Well, they put the new Tom Baker compiled graphic novel collection, so that's on my Christmas list. That's what I'll be reading on
I
Christmas Day.
believe they're reprinting it in the next issue of Doctor Who magazine as well.
Oh,
as
really?
a supplement.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
What the whole thing?
I think so.
Well, that's what a Christmas present.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, amazing.
supplement.
I'm excited
There we
about
go.
that now.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I think that's why I thought the Star Beast part of the plot was going to be so much more a part of it, because they made it such a big thing, right? I mean, what did we all think of the Meta Crisis stuff at the end?
I can see why people are mixed about it because I think something big like that. I feel like there's always going to be some disappointment with how
it
it
was
was
done.
like, no matter what.
Yeah.
But I personally loved it because I really loved Donna and Rose's mother and daughter bond throughout the episode. Like
Yes,
literally when she's like, "Listen, you, I would burn the world down for you."
That was perfect.
I will descend, and then later it's Donna Noble is descending, and it's,
Yes.
and like just seeing the to.
I never made that link. That's what she was referencing.
Yes.
I was like, what are you on about? You're going to jump out the spaceship? Or fantastic.
And then I've seen some confusion about how they're able to let it go, but they did sort of say, you know, it's too much for one person, but Donna having an offspring and those two be able to embrace it together,
They're
and
able
then
to
let it go.
let it
You know,
go.
I'll allow it because, as I said, I love their bond, and I think considering the anti-trans rhetoric that's happening in the UK right now, this sort of story was very much
needed. Yeah.
And I adore seeing Donna being that supportive mum,
Mm-hmm.
who, well, you know, she even admits that sometimes she makes some mistakes about that sort of thing, but she learns, and Bob, so does Sylvia as well. So
Saying how well written that is. I think
Yeah.
the whole,
absolutely.
all of it was very well written, and I love how Russell did it and was like, this is how it is. You know, this is and if you don't like it, then realistically, you shouldn't really be a fan, because this is, it was fantastic. Really well done.
yeah, like I think Russell's always been pushing boundaries in terms of the types of stories we see on screen for Doctor Who, and well, in his own work as well outside Doctor Who. So it's sort of nice that from his first episode back as showrunner, he really lets his mission statement known. And it's it is pissing off that side of Twitter and whatnot. But I think in a way it sort of shows that he's doing something right, because we need more stories like this to the point where there's less of the complaining and it just.
Here's a safe space.
Yeah, because I've seen a bit of controversy amongst fans about the whole fact that Rose is being dead named on the street, which I can understand because that's a whole sensitive situation.
Sure.
But at the same time, I think it's there to show kids that it's not cool to dead name someone who's trans.
Yes.
So hopefully that sort of gets in their side.
And you've got to show
Talks
both
about that on
sides
the
of it.
podcast. He kind of goes into that.
Because, I mean, as someone as part of the queer community myself, it's like you've got to sort of face these issues head on rather than shy away from them. I think. I mean, as long as it works for the story and for your type of audience, I think it's fine. So.
I think it was interesting listening to the official podcast. We've mentioned again, the official Doctor Who podcast.
We're the unofficial,
and it was interesting
we're the
hearing
official,
Juno Dawson, who obviously is part of the trans community, talking about that, because that's a perspective of someone who that's very relevant to. And I think, she said that it was very great to have both sides of the representation, having both the kind of the struggles of a trans person and also the warmth of Donna and her family and everything like that. Really well done.
Right, I want to turn to Wild Blue Yonder properly now.
Okay.
Final predictions. Let's go round.
Predictions. Okay.
Let's start with you, Adam, if you don't mind. Yeah. So final predictions. Where are the Doctor and Donna? What's going on? What's the monster? Anything? Throw it in.
I have a funny feeling there definitely will be a classic monster.
Classic monster.
Classic monster. Whether it is from the TV series or a Big Finish thing.
Interesting,
I was thinking, there's definitely going to be a throwback in terms of the threat of it as well. I'll add on top of that, maybe we'll get the odd sort of either, a previously established sort of Doctor Who guest star or like a brand new guest star that sort of really sort of, keep it back. There's redacted actors, even in the Doctor Magazine preview, there's lots of, actors who've been redacted, so I think they're keeping a big name, whether it's Doctor Who related or not, behind for sure.
Hugh Grant or a Judi Dench or
exactly.
100%. What about you, Ethan?
Yeah, it seems to be very character focused from what Russ has been saying. Out of all three of the episodes, it seems to be the one where we'll get the most range out of David and Catherine. But based on what they said in the magazine.
Sure.
One of my favourite theories, I think someone else came up with this theory, but I've sort of liked the idea of it. Someone said there's that bit in the trailer where it looks like the Doctor's being sort of tortured in some way, like maybe emotionally or whatever.
Yeah.
Most banging on the wall.
Well, what if there's a scene where, I don't know, he's seeing people who he has wronged in the past, which is how we get some cameos in from the past. Having said that, I'm not entirely sure now, because I also thought the why does it have to be this scene was going to be in Wild Blue Yonder. But
we all said that. We all said that. When that happened, it was like, oh, sorry. Oh, right. This is now. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm still holding on a little bit of hope. I mean, mainly because. I want any old excuse to see Martha Jones back. But
Martha Jones, Freem Rajaman is going to be in Wild Blue Yonder. You heard it here first. This is happening.
I mean, if she's not in it, then just cancel the rest of the 60th. What's the point?
100%.
Exactly. That's it, isn't it?
Yes. Aside from that, I don't really know what to think really. Like, I've genuinely been bamboozled, I've got to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna make sure I know where the quiz is now. But enjoy the rest of your podcast.
Thank you so much,
you very
Ethan.
much.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
it.
Thank you. We haven't. This is like the 60th itself. This, isn't it? We've got cameos from everyone from the fan community in this.
Right, Josh.
Go on.
Final predictions.
Now, this is. Can I just say for the podcasters, Josh has not stopped going on about Wild Blue Yonder all day.
Take the floor.
I'm
So-
just really excited about
Yeah.
it. Can I just say, like, the Star Beast has been trailed for a year, and I've said this to you before.
Yeah.
It's already been a comic, it's already been an audio. We sort of knew what we were getting.
Yeah.
Whereas we know nothing about this, and that is so exciting.
Yeah.
So there's 3 redacted actors from the Doctor
There
Magazine
are.
preview.
There
right?
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I imagine one of those is whoever's voicing that robot.
The robot. Oh, cool. I forgot about the robot.
Yeah.
The little
Very
robot.
easy,
Marvin.
very easy to forget.
Marvin
it
from
does-
Great
yes.
Hitchhikers.
Yeah, Hitchhikers.
Yes.
Which has been mysteriously absent from, apart from the main promo image, it's not been in any other
We've
stuff.
not
I don't
seen
think.
anything
Pictures,
else.
trailers,
Yeah.
clips. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm curious about whoever that is. I think one of those is Shooty,
I think it's
Yeah.
fair bet.
and I have no idea who the other one is. All I would say is I feel like it's probably going to be mainly focused on the Doctor and Donna because, and I was saying this to you before we recorded, the Star Beast was very much Rose's story. I mean, the Star Beast was very much focused on Sharon, and Sharon sort of took the place of Rose. Rose was the one who found Meep.
Yeah.
Sharon found Meep in the original story, and Sharon goes on to become a future companion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very much Rose's story, and I would be very curious to see how
she's
explored in the novelisation, which is going to be coming out soon as well.
Oh my! I forgot about the novelisation.
Yes.
That'll be out.
Novelisation,
That'll be out
yes.
very soon.
Yes.
Won't
Star
it?
Beast
Yes.
by
Mr. Gary Russell.
of
Wow.
course,
Yes.
Can I also just say as well, as a
well.
slight side tangent, how amazing it is to have such a wealth of Doctor Who content.
Yes.
We've got
Agreed.
Doctor Who Unleashed, the official Doctor Who podcast,
Yeah.
Doctor Who In Vision commentary straight
Yes.
after the episode airs.
YouTube behind the scenes. I think someone was adding this up on
I think
Twitter.
George shared on
It's like
Twitter.
3.25 hours. I
He
think.
added it up 3.25 hours. Yeah.
Which
But
is-
for this week at least,
this week
you know,
is-
it's amazing.
It's bonkers. Yeah.
It's
And that's
incredible.
not even
Proper
like
evening
we've
with
not
Doctor
even had to buy a DVD for that.
No.
That is just on
Free.
iPlayer.
Yeah, well,
So
free.
pay
Yeah.
TV license.
You need a license, yeah.
Just saying, I've paid my TV license for the. I mean, I've been a student, so it's fine. But you know, just
No, it's
saying.
fine. It's fine. I'm a student.
Probably
So.
shouldn't admit that live. on
No.
this, should I?
Well,
Anyway,
We'll redact that.
redact that. Yeah,
Along
yeah.
with the actors' names
Yes,
from
yeah,
Star
yeah. That part.
But yeah, the whole Whoniverse thing on iPlayer is absolutely incredible, and
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for the amount of content we're getting. But back to the Wild Blue Yonder.
Back to the
I
Wild Blue
think what's a wild theory?
It's a wild blue yonder.
A wild
What
blue
is the
yonder
What is the
theory.
Wild Blue Yonder?
I
The
think
TARDIS is in it.
the TARDIS is in it. I think
Or is it? Because
Or
it'll
is
be
it?
in it. Then maybe
And then
it
it's-
won't be in it.
exactly.
And then it'll be in it again, probably.
And the Sonic as well
And
will
the
be
Sonic
will be
probably
partly
might
in
be
it.
yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe it might
Yeah.
be in it as well. And David Tennant might be in it.
No Sonic shields in this one. I'm hoping. That's my hope. No Sonic
That's the
shields.
prediction. No Sonic
Please.
shields.
right. Here's my prediction. I think the Doctor and Donna are both going to see their futures. So I think Tennant is going to see himself as Shooty, and I think Donna's going to see herself as dead. And that's why
Sorry.
don't laugh.
No.
But I
It's
think
just the way, it's just the way that it came out of nowhere.
as
That's
dead.
just
No,
it,
but
yeah.
I think that's why he says, "I don't know if I can save your life this time."
Yeah.
And I think that's
yeah.
going to be the setup for the giggle.
Now that is very good. Wow, that man has just laid that on the table.
There you
and
go.
gone, there you go.
All cards.
That's
You
it.
laugh, but
No,
those
no.
are my cards on the table.
Yeah,
there.
very fair point. See, I wish I had as an intelligent a theory as that, because like, I'm purely excited, and I think it's because I've not speculated, I've not thought. I'm not going into this
stayed away
thinking.
from everything,
Yeah,
haven't
I've
you?
not gone
The
into this
links
thinking. You know, oh, we're going to see this person, we're going to see this person. It's just do to me what you will episode, and the Wild Blue Yonder will leave me. I'm going to start that again. I think the Wild Blue Yonder. I'm just going to let it do. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna enjoy it. Right, so there we go.
What are your predictions then, Richard? Have you got any?
I think I'm standing by my prediction that it's also sort of set inside the TARDIS somehow, or a TARDIS, or certainly set inside some significant space, a little bit like Heaven Sank with the confession dial, where at the end you find out it was all inside this thing all along.
Yeah.
Like on the official podcast, they mentioned the idea that maybe it's all set inside the
Sonic
screwdriver.
screwdriver.
I don't think they'd have put that out on the official podcast
If it was an
true.
actual- yes,
So
yes,
I
yeah.
don't think it'll be that.
Yeah.
But something similar to that.
like maybe the TARDIS standing inside itself, and I've said this to the Vigil already, but like this idea that the Doctor could just roam around these rooms inside the TARDIS without actually realising where he is, because the TARDIS has just changed. And that would allow you to do your sneaky little cameos or whatever, bits and pieces. I think certainly some kind of, it's clearly a vast, colossal space which would fit the bill of the new TARDIS. Some sort of storage facility maybe, or database, something like that. Like we jest, but like the Ark in space theory,
you know what?
Would fit
I think that's the theory I'm going with, because we saw that clip of the Doctor pulling out that tray of goo, whatever it is.
These plates to develop.
Perhaps it's some sort of, because Russell's played with the idea of how humans survive, digi-humans and all this sort of stuff. So maybe that's some sort of form of humanity. Maybe it's the Ark Mark II of, and there's the Wirren.
and then turn around,
I think about
it's bubble wrap.
And it's bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap.
That's when we know to crap our pants, when the bubble wrap comes in. Graham comes in, pops it. Oh yeah, love it.
Any final predictions about this whole thing about the visual effects and the green screen and everything? How that's going to factor into it?
Well, the Wirren.
Prosthetics.
The Wirren.
It would make sense to have a creature that kind of ties all that together with prosthetics, with the enhancements. Like the meat, but on a bigger scale.
It fascinates me.
Like that.
It fascinates me because we were talking about this, and it's like all we've seen is shots of them on this weird spapeship type thing. How visual effects comes into that, no idea. It's really.
That's what's so exciting about it, Miles.
Totally. No, that is exactly what's so exciting.
And I reckon it's all mainly studio bound. Like, I reckon there's little to no location filming like at all for this one.
Although they did say something about the pre-titles being shot in the open air, and we still don't know what that is. And it can't be a Doctor and Donna thing because they're in the TARDIS, aren't they? So. How is that going to work?
It's cold open, I reckon. I think we sort of assumed it's going to be a cold open related to the characters they interact with.
Whoever that is.
Yes.
I think that Susan Twist is a woman put on this earth purely for the sake of derailing our kind of predictions, so that we assume that Susan's coming back.
Could that robot then, if this is like the edge of creation, and we're going with the theory that this is like
the last
life,
of humanity,
could that robot basically house the minds of every person who ever lived then?
It could be. I mean, wouldn't put it past Russell. It's.
I think it's definitely going to be some sort of interface to like this space, this database, whatever. Like kind of going into a library, and he's like the little droid that tells you where your book is and like on which shelf, that kind of thing. Something like that. We're also assuming it will speak, it will have a personality, it will have some role to play. Is there? I don't know, like, because we were speculating about that as well. Like, is it an entirely like robotic creation? Because those arms do not look thick enough to me to fit someone inside.
They do not. No. Jimmy V is not sat in that in that costume.
Not this time, I don't think. I could be wrong, but
I'm fascinated. And I can't wait to see what happens.
Maybe this is how you get sort of all of the cameos in, not in like you have Matt Smith returning or whatever, but maybe it's a space museum type thing. Where it's the edge of creation, this is a Dalek, this is a Cyberman, this is artifacts of a bygone era of a universe that is now dying.
As long as Tennant could pop up like Hartnell did in the Space Museum out of Dalek.
Yes, absolutely. That would be good.
But I'm like a Slovene or something. It's going to be really fascinating. It's going to be a bit of a heaven sent type situation, I'm thinking. Very minimal on the other characters who are in it. And I think that any anniversary surprises will come in the giggle. I think that this is the more conceptual piece that's like, we've set up things in the Star Beast, that's all dealt with. Now let's have some mad adventures. I'm fascinated. I can't wait to see what they do with it, really.
Yeah, there we go. Well, off we go into the wild blue yonder.
Into the wild blue
Indeed.
yonder.
So
don't lick anything, because it will probably poison you.
And
like
don't
it's done.
spill anything either, because things will just spark
Don't
out of
spill.
control.
Yeah. I've had a beer for this whole podcast, and I've been worrying about doing a Donna.
The microphone has escaped unscathed.
Yeah.
We've still got to round this up. Let's do it now. Let's say thank you to everybody who has come on. We've had Miles, we've had Josh, Adam.
Thank you for having me.
Ethan, fantastic.
I think that's everybody.
Oh no, I've done it again! No!
Miriam
Margulies,
came along as well.
Yeah. And also, who's this? It's come from the. It's Paul McGann here. I'm just about to say I've got a brand new Disney Plus series coming out. He's gone. And
also, it's me, Peter Capaldi.
And Peter Riverside is just full of random people today.
So we're off to do the quiz of Rassilon, big, nice anniversary quiz.
About now, actually.
10 minutes, I think.
I have a take watch.
We shall get in the TARDIS and leave you guys, but thank you so much for
that's
listening.
where I parked. I forgot. There we go. Yeah, this one over in the corner.
Let's go off into the wild beyond. Thank you. Leave your comments below, your theories, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.